Indeed. Got the fresh battery, the actual Sony battery, which is the longest lasting of all of them. Got a fresh SD card. Oh man, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it's already getting a little bit yucky out. It's kind of too warm. Too warm. It's gonna be a hot day, 105 probably. I cannot tell you how much it took to retrain myself to not lock up when the oh man. Here's the deal. You get on the soft stuff and you seize up, you lock your arms up, you don't move them, right? That's like the wrong thing to do. That's an instant flop. The thing to do is to loosen up and let the thing float a little and just kind of, you steer with your hips, you know. Your weight of your feet on the foot pegs and the movement of your hips to shift that, and you steer with that. You don't steer with the front. You just keep the front upright, and you kind of help assist. Ooh, some skunk's been out here messing around. Rabbits are getting frisky. Whoops. I forgot all about that bump. Yeah, see, the front end just kind of came out a little, and you just loosen up and let it happen. Let it keep its line, you know. Anyway, well guys, we're here. I'm going to talk to the guys, and I'll see you on the pistol range. We'll go shoot this little thing. I don't think anybody else is here. I don't hear any gunshots. Of course, they just now opened the range, so we'll see. We'll find out right now. See you over there. I don't normally shoot 124 grain 9mm. Shoot 115 grain. I'm hoping that helps cycle the action a little more reliably. So this is the stock. The gun came with the wood stock and the tool, which is original, and that's why I think that's original. That's the little cartouche. Pretty sure that came with the gun originally. Ooh, little Mauser stamped into the wood there. Looks to be correct from all of my reading. It's been a while since I looked into this in depth because, you know, I bought it like a year ago. Well, matter of fact, we're July 1st today, and I bought it right before my birthday and got it just after my birthday in California. We have a 10-day wait. So anyway, so yeah, it's been a year. Anyway, here's the Mauser logo on that. Really good shape. These are not correct, I do not believe. It would have been this, so I don't know who did that after the fact, but I've got to try to get the originals and then I'll get that right. But it's in really good shape. The hardware is all good. I don't know why they put the Phillips head screws there, but it's in really good condition. This is what the bluing would look like after, 100 years of wear. It's kind of a grayish, blackish. Anyway, you'll see the gun and you'll see why I think it's been redone. There's no way that gun went through 100 years and still looks that new. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like I said before, if we got that in the footage, I saw a Red 9 Mauser once before, and you just don't see them. I saw it like 8 years before I saw this one, and it was $800, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's too much. And then like I decided, you know what, I want it. I went back and it was gone. Somebody snatched it up at $800. This guy was asking almost $1,800 for this, and I was like, it's not worth that. I got it down to $1,500. I paid $1,500 for this gun, and honestly, it's not worth that either. But like I say, the big problem is with the cosplay people cutting these things up to make the DL-44 blasters that Han Solo had in the movies. There's just not that many of them anymore. They're fewer and fewer and further in between. So anyway, without further ado, there you go. That is my Red 9 Prussian contract broom handle Mauser. Oh, check this real quick. You can see there's nothing in it, so because I'm going to turn it around and point it the wrong way. Something I typically don't do. But I'll show you both sides of this. Anyway, we'll work in some photographs here a little bit. But quit messing around, John. Shoot the gun. All right, here we go. I'm going to shoot the gun. I bought these online. They're stripper clips. So what I'm going to do, and this is where I got them. As you guys know, I don't get paid for any of this. This is just me having a good time. And that is not a paid endorsement. That is just, I ordered them from these guys. It was shipped very promptly. It got to the house. These are really good quality. I've used them a few times. Would they stand up to a war? I don't know. I don't ever intend to use this gun that way. So, but for what I'm doing with them, they're great. They're great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go load those up and get this ready and reposition you because you're in the way. And we'll be right back. So it just occurred to me, there's that button I was talking about on the bike. That's the only real flaw with this gun is I broke that off. I don't know how I did it, but this loose sand that I'm standing in, it took me a half hour to find that part. Anyway, boom. In case you're not familiar with these, they came out with them in, I think the patent was 1896. That's why it's a C-96 Mauser. But they came out in 30 Mauser, which is a bottleneck cartridge. It is the inspiration for your 357 SIG. It is also the inspiration for your 7.62 by 25. The Russians used that cartridge in the TT-33, in the PPS H-44, 41. Screwed that up. I probably did. Anyway, if you put a 7.62 by 25 cartridge into a 30 Mauser, it'll fit. But the chamber pressures are way higher, and these guns aren't designed to handle that. The TT-33 is based off of Browning's 1911 design, or 1903. Anyway, the reason this has a red 9 on it is the Prussians wanted a 9mm for their cavalry and their machine gun crews. So they ordered them from Mauser, and they got them. They got what they wanted. They got the 9mm version, which is what this is. It's 9mm Parabellum, 9mm Luger. The problem that they had with that is they already had a bunch of 30 Mauser broom handles, and the guys would like try to stick the wrong ammunition in the wrong guns. So, because it's the same frame. Anyway, they asked, hey, we got a bunch of these. We're having problems with the guys messing it up, because, you know, I guess machine gun crews are kind of like oil field workers. You break it, lose it, stick the wrong stuff in it. Anyway, they said, can you groove a big number 9 for 9mm on the handle and paint it red so that the guys can see it, you know? Maybe idiot-proof these guns for us a little bit. And, yeah, sure, we can do that. So, there are a very few of these that don't have this. They have the original, They have the original broom handle grips. But they're few. They're very few. I don't remember the exact numbers. If you want to learn more about this, I'm not going to go too terribly in depth. If you want to learn more about this, I'll put a link down in the description. If you go down there and look at that, you can read up on these, and you can know all the really cool stuff that I knew a year ago and don't remember. But yeah, they say I paid way too much for this gun, but you don't see them anymore. The red 9s. There's 3 30 Luger or 30 Mauser broom handles down at Valley Gun right now. One of them's, I think, in 45. It's a Chinese. The Chinese called this the box cannon. They liked it, and they wanted it in 45 ACP, so they made it themselves in 45 ACP. I think under license. I don't remember for sure. Anyway, there's 3 of them down there right now, which you don't ever see that. But none of them are a red 9. That's for sure. So, all right. So what you have is a 10-round box magazine, non-removable. I'm going to say this wrong, Snellfuhr, the fully automatic version, had a 20-round detachable magazine that stuck out like this. And it was, you know, it went in, but that gun was specifically made. That wasn't like a altered version of this. So anyway, what you do, these are actually called clips. The magazines you stick in modern handguns aren't called clips. I'm sure you've seen all this before. This is actually a clip. This is a stripper clip. What you do, the action holds open after the last round, but there's no lever in there like a modern gun. It's just resting on the follower, the floor plate, or not the floor plate. That's the floor plate. The follower in the magazine, what pushes the rounds up. So what you do is you stick that in there, and now the stripper clip is holding it open. Okay, you push this down and it fills the magazine, and there's this lovely little thumb groove here to help you get in there. So you do that. Remember, these guys are wearing gloves, and then when you pull this out, it's ready to go. Now you pull this back a little and you have a safety. Okay, and what it does, it disengages the trigger. I believe it also keeps the hammer. It physically blocks the hammer, but I think it just disengages the trigger. I don't remember. It's been a while. Anyway, let's see how she shoots. We'll see if we can get some slow-mo in here too. But all right, here we go. Ooh, nice. Uh-oh. Failure to feed. That's it, 10 rounds. Oh man. There is something in there that is holding that, and it was a common issue even in the 30 Mauser caliber. What it would do is, like, between the third, fourth, fifth round, somewhere in there, it would kick a live round out as well, and then go ahead and feed. So it would spit live ammo out. You might have a 9-round magazine this time, you know. But super cool old gun. You got to remember, when you're looking at this, as unergonomic as this is, the barrel height to the web of your hand there is really high. That makes it harder to shoot. The lower your bore axis is, the easier the gun is to shoot, the less felt recoil. You don't have all that torque because of the height. But what you got to remember is there's only really one semi-automatic pistol before this one, the Borshat. And if I can find a picture of it, I'll put it in here. Really big, clunky, ugly thing. It wasn't very popular because it was stupid. I mean, but it wasn't stupid. It was ingenious in the time. Nobody had come up with anything like that before. This was the first commercially viable semi-automatic firearm. A lot of people loved this thing, and they sold more privately. They sold more as commercial firearms. And you got to remember, back then there were no background checks. You wanted a gun, you went and bought a gun, you know, if you had the money. So they sold a lot more of these commercially than they did to the militaries of the world. And they sold these for a long time. You go down to that link, it'll tell you how long, but they were selling these way out into the 30s, 40s, I think. Early to mid 30s, something like that. I could be wrong about that. It's been a long time since I read up on this stuff. I got a lot of stuff I got to remember besides this. But anyway, yeah, these were commercially successful, and this is really the first semi-automatic firearm to do that. Everything was revolvers before that, and when you're talking revolvers, buddy, you're talking 32, you know, Smith & Wesson, 32 Smith & Wesson long. 32 Colt. That was a popular revolver, and a 32 in those cartridges, that was not a potent cartridge. 9mm was a very, very powerful high pressure cartridge for the day, for the metals that they used to make these guns. And the original 30 Mauser was even more so. I mean, you want to talk about a burn it down, man, that thing's scooting. I think these are moving at like 1,200 feet per second, maybe 1,300 at the most. By the way, that 124 is working a lot better in this. I can feel the difference. But yeah, not very ergonomic. Very tall bore axis from the web of your hand to here. Nothing like the Glock of today. Not very comfortable. This stuff's all eaten into your hand here. This is the takedown. This is how you pull the action out of the gun. I'll see about doing that later. I'm not going to do that out here at the range. But yeah, not a super comfortable gun to shoot, to be honest. But it's pretty damn accurate. It's doing better than I can do with it because, you know, you don't practice with it. It's an old gun. Anyway, let's shoot it some more. Shut up, John. Yeah, okay. I'm going to bite up into that. That hurts. There's that one that I missed. I think I'm throwing these just to the left, and I say I'm throwing them. The gun's more accurate than that. It's just I'm not. Ooh, that's warm. That is warm. The sights aren't that great on this. Oh, don't do that. I can't believe I just did that. Yeah, what you have is this little V and a V notch inverted. I don't know if you can see that. It's probably not going to focus. I don't think I can force it to focus. Anyway, that's what you have on there, and it's not really that great. Very optimistic 500 meters that this thing ramps up to. See how the sight does? Elevates the throw there. We leave it back here at the 50. It's just not going to do it. Oop. Oop. Yeah, you can't do it with that. But doing it this way is the only way I can see what I'm doing, so anyway. I'll put 10 more through it. Alright, let's see if we can. Woohoo! There's a little plate. Little plate again. Let's go for 135 and see what we can do. I know the gun will do it. I can't, but the gun can. I had a really good day. I think the second time I brought it out. I had a really good day, and I was cracking on that thing pretty hard and pretty regular. All right, here we go. I'm not even close, guys. I'm gonna quit trying. Oh boy. There we go. I love it. The last 10 rounds I'm going to do this on. I don't like doing it. So every time I put it on there, it scuffs that blue a little bit. But 26017, and everything's 017 inside. It's just so sweet. So yeah, I don't like doing this very often, but I'm going to do it just for you guys. Just so you can see. And this is legal with an old gun. The Browning high powers from the Second World War have a similar stock, and I have one of those. Do a video on it for you. I have one of those. They are specifically named as OK. They do not meet the date specifications that the ATF put out for being able to do this and not register it as an SBR. If the gun's old enough, you can do this. It's not an SBR because they know that you're not going to go fight the government or do whatever with this like that. The Browning high powers are specifically named the World War II ones. So those guns, you can also put the stock on and not register it as an SBR. Now, as to how good of an idea this is a fantastic idea. Having a little bit longer barrel in a shoulder stock that comes off. You can do this with the Mako stuff for the Glocks. I think this is a fantastic idea. And how great would this be for a rancher? You know? Just to have a little pistol and have the stock thrown in the quad or in the mule or whatever, or have it in his pack, carry a pack with you. I don't know. How awesome would it be to have this to put coyotes down or something and just have a handgun? I really like that barrel length that's 5 inches. It sticks way out because of the design of the gun, but this is also almost a 5-inch barrel. but it's inside the gun. So if you could do that with this, how sweet would that be? Anyway, I think this is a really good idea. I don't think it should be restricted. I don't think there should be any restrictions anyway. But that's political talk. We're talking about the gun. Anyway, what they would do is they would carry this on like a chest mount or on a belt on the outside of their coats. And this was portable, and it was a personal defense weapon. They didn't need a rifle because they had a machine gun. If you got close enough or flanked them or something, they could pull this out and have a little rifle to engage you. And I'm going to say that this setup, whether it was the Luger in 9mm or the Mauser in 30 Mauser or even Luger, 9mm Luger, this setup right here, I think, did more in the First World War to end the effectiveness of cavalry as anything but a scout option. I think this had as much influence on that, just a little bit I've read about it. I think it had as much influence on ending cavalry as motorcycles did, to be honest. That's just my opinion from the reading I've done. You know, I'm not an expert on the subject. Just, I could be totally wrong. But, you know, anyway. Let's shoot this like this. It's not very ergonomic. You've got to kind of wrap your hand around the stock itself, so not the most ergonomic thing in the world. I'm going to again pull that back. It will go in. I just don't want to scuff it up like that. Just stick that in there. Let that slide forward. So there we go. And I'm lefty with the rifles, so here we go. Improvement, right? Let's go for the 135 now. Low. Ooh, right into it. You can't see that, but I'm only missing by a little bit. Oh, I'm out. Sweet, right? Alright. So like I say, 50 rounds. I will say this. The 124 grain cycled far more reliably in that than the 115 grain. So if I shoot this going forward, that's probably what I will do. I put the snap caps in there just in case I do something stupid like what I did earlier. You break that firing pin, it's got a sonar on it. You just cut a third of the value, maybe half of the value of that gun down. So I also do not store it in the stock. It scuffs it up. I have put it in there a few times. There is a little bit of wear like here because of that, so I try not to. But man, yeah, not a practical thing to have, but man, I've wanted one forever and I finally got it. Anyway, this is going to turn into an hour-long slobber fest if I don't shut it down. I'll edit that down. We're at 22 on this section of the video. Yeah, I rode out here on the BMW today. Too cool. Got to shoot the Red 9. I think maybe July will be the month for shooting the Red 9 birthday thing. Anyway, not really a full review, just kind of a, hey, check this out, guys, and having a little bit of fun with it. It's starting to really get hot. It's going to be 102 today, which is 102 to 105 out here. Realistically, it'll be probably 110, 112 in town. Oh, it's miserable. So what I'm going to do is shoot some more of this through the Glock, a little bit of practice, and go home. Get in the air conditioner, take another shower, get cleaned up. I'm starting to feel a little bit better, more alive. It was early. It was early this morning. So, all right, guys. Catch you on the next one.